This lesson is P2b. Here we have an example. Find an equation of the line passes through the point -2, -2, and 1, 7. Okay. First thing we need to do is label. So this one, the first one right here, is x1, y1. The second point will be x2, y2. Please do not label this x1 and over here x2, y1 and y2, which is wrong. Okay, so again, it has to be x1, y1 because this is the first point, x2, y2 because this is the second point. Do not label x1, x2, y1, y2. That is wrong. Okay, first thing we need to do is find the slope. So here's the formula for slope, which is y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. Now all you have to do is here plug them in. So we know that y2 is 7, followed by a negative. Again, the negative is always there. And then y1, which is another negative, so make sure you put parentheses in. Now x2 here is 1 minus x1, which is minus 2. Okay, so be very careful of the negative. When you have two negative, make sure you put parentheses. So negative times -2 become positive 2. 2 plus 7 gives me 9. Negative times -2 will be positive 2. 2 plus 1, which is 3. So 9 over 3 will be 3. Okay. Now here is another way to do this. You can also do y1 first and then minus y2. Same thing with the bottom. x1 subtract x2. Okay, it will come out the same answer. Now be very careful, and we tend to make this mistake. We tend to put the x on top and then the y in the bottom. Again, you cannot do that. It has to be y on top and then x in the bottom. Now here is still the same. Y on top, x is in the bottom. The only thing I did was I switched these two around. I switched them around like this. Okay, so it's still the same thing. So as you can see, y2 minus y1, down here is y1 minus y2. It still come out the same answer. Okay, so if you switch them around like that, make sure you do to both. Okay, don't do to the top only. Don't switch the top only and then leave the bottom like here. Don't leave the bottom as x2 minus x1. Okay, if you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. Okay, so you have to be careful of that. All right, so if you flip them around, make sure you flip both. Okay, what I meant by flipping is switching the y1 first and then the x2, x1 and then x2. Okay, what I meant is that I didn't mean like this, flip and you flip it around like that. I didn't mean that way. Okay, so be very careful of that. So switch the y1 first and then y2 and then x1 and then x2. Okay, so be very careful of that. Okay, once you have your slope, now you use the point-intercept form. Okay, using the point-intercept form equation, which is right here. Okay, now all you have to do is just plug them in. We know what y1 is, so go back to the point up here. y1 is -2, and then x1, which is -2. Okay, so that's where I got the point from, right here. Okay, so plug them in. Again, if you have double negatives, make sure you put in parentheses here and also here as well. Okay, so order of operation, negative and negative, +2. Negative and negative is +2. Multiply this out, distribute it. So I have 3x plus 6. Okay, and then -2 over, so that gives me 4. Okay, however, you don't have to use the first point, even though in the equation it says 1 and it's also say 1 here. Okay, you don't have to use the first point. You can also use the second point. One more time, you don't have to use the first point. You can also use the second point. Just pick one because it will come out the same answer. As you can see right here, same thing. Okay, so my y1 or my second y was 7. Okay, so +7. Okay, so 7, which is the y2, and then the x2, which is 1. So plug them in. Here is y2 and here is x2. Okay, and we don't need extra parentheses here because there's only one negative. Same thing over here. We don't need extra parentheses because there's only one negative. Okay, so now everything is fine. So distribute, so that gives me 3x. Distribute, which is minus 3. Okay, and then plus 7 over will gives me 4. And as you can see, if you use the first point or the second point, the answer will be exactly the same. So just pick one. Okay, so that is the homework and the lesson for this sections. Okay.